All right, good morning, everyone. Good morning. Thank you so much for joining, and welcome to another Sustainability Insight sharing session today. Apologies, I have to turn off my video for a bit because my Wi-Fi here is a bit lagging, so I hope everyone can hear me clearly. My name is Grace, and good to see everyone today. Hope everyone is having a good morning so far. And again, on behalf of Regenerative X Association, would like to thank everyone for taking the time to join this session. This session is part of our association's ongoing effort to inspire meaningful conversations and share insights that can drive sustainable practices. So I hope everyone will enjoy the sharing today. And feel free to ask your questions in the chat box throughout the presentation by our speaker. So I will now pass over to Madam Alexa Loy from UCSI University Sarawak campus, who will introduce about herself and also her topic for today. So I will stop my sharing right now. All right, so over to you.
Right. Thank you, Grace. Thank you very much for the introductions. Well, let me just share my screen first. Otherwise, I may forget doing that. Okay, I hope everybody can see my screen now. So, very good morning to everybody. And I'm Alexa. I am from UCSI University Sarawak campus, currently heading the Faculty of Business and Management. So for this morning, what I will share is what we are actually doing at UCSI campus Sarawak, and a little bit insights of what I personally feel about, adopting SDGs and how we could, play our part in moving forward, in making these SDGs more approachable goals. Okay, so a little bit about our university's background. I'm sure many of you would have known already, UCSI University. We are universities that has established for more than 25 years. I think it's about 30 years by now. Okay, and a few key values that we always uphold and we have always, emphasized to the people around us is that we hold on to the key values of audacity, perseverance, integrity, and excellence. So one of the key endeavors that we have recently, I won't say recently, but the recent few years we have been more active with is basically, towards the driving of sustainability practices. Okay, so as the UCSI, the value that we uphold is actually to get everybody to be hands-on. That's where the praxis comes in. So we want everybody to be involved in experiencing, and that's how we learn as well. So the universities itself now has three major campuses in Malaysia. So namely KL campus, Spring Hill campus, which focuses more on medical studies, and our Kuching campus, where we are currently housed in a hotel and offering business programs as well as tourism and hospitality related program. So I saw, as the people coming in just now, I saw a lot of familiar names. It's probably our students. So I hope you can also gain something from this session today. Okay. So just for a start, as I mentioned, UCSI University has been pursuing the endeavors of moving towards sustainability and embracing sustainabilities in our life, okay, in our practices as well. We basically promote this almost every day. So we would love for the people, the community within UCSI to eat, sleep, and breathe sustainability. So with that effort, we are very proud to also share that, as of this year, the QS rankings in terms of sustainability, we are placed at the world's number 7. So this is something that we have always been proudly sharing. And we look forward to more people around us, being able to come into this sustainability exercise with us. And together we can, build a better future. Right. So sustainability goals, SDGs, as we all know it, there are 17 of it, and it was started like way long, before all of us in Malaysia is aware about this. This is something that was long developed, and it is something of a very long-term goal for the world. okay, by UN. Okay, and as we always say, there is 17 sustainability goals, but how many of us really do know what each of these represents? And 17 is actually also too many for us to focus at one time. So what UCSI did is we try to promote as many as possible, but to the very close to us day-to-day practice, we will still uphold the SDGs goals number 4, which is quality education. And of course, in Sarawak campus, because our campus is, just next to our very, lovely Sarawak River, so we also look into another area which is, relevant to water. Okay, so we have SDGs 14, okay, life below waters, right? That is also something that we are focusing very closely with. Later on, I'm going to show you something of what we have done as a whole. Okay, so as we all know, SDGs is something that was already introduced to us like long time ago, many years ago, right? But the thing is, if we were to go out and tell people, let's work together, to attend SDGs, okay, how many of the people around you actually really know what is SDGs? So the challenges that we are facing now, especially I think in Malaysia, as far as I can observe, okay, in Sarawak, Kuching itself also. Okay, when I talk to the people around me and I told them that, okay, UCSI is looking into, SDG awareness, we are doing this exercise, this kind of events and stuff like that, promoting SDGs. And the first questions that I always ask is, what is SDGs? Okay, so there come a point where we start to observe that there's actually limited public awareness of SDGs. We cannot omit the fact that there are a lot of people around us, a lot of institutions, a lot of companies, a lot of organizations is actually trying to move SDGs, is trying to do a lot of things in terms of SDGs. Okay, for example, regenerative exit observe, they are doing this on a monthly basis, to create awareness, to have people coming in to know what is SDGs and what we are all doing together. Okay, but still, we can still observe that there is a limited public awareness in SDGs. Though we are trying our best, but still. So this is one of the major challenges that we are facing at the moment. And what can we do about it, So another thing that we observe is that SDGs are usually treated as a compliance. That is very much why I want to talk about this topic today, compliance. Okay, yes, I was just talking to Grace earlier on, that she's currently, working with their projects, okay, at the Rainforest Music Festivals right now. Okay, and of course she shared with me about what they are experiencing at the moment. And then we shared the same view that, a lot of, like I said, publics is unaware of SDGs, and so they are unaware of what are the things that they can do in contributing to this, and what are things that they have done is affecting our efforts, right? So at one point, we have to agree that, compliances is important, because without these policies, without these governmental restrictions or whatsoever, it's very difficult for us to push for the people to actually start adopting some of the SDGs practices. Take, for example, plastic waste. Okay, how many years have it been since Malaysia's government has started promoting no plastic bag policies? Okay, even in Kuching itself right now, we are promoting, but how many companies and how many places is actually adopting this, and how many individuals see this as something that, it's part of their duty to do? Okay, and unless and until, okay, the governments or the relevant associations comes in with a penalizing actions, like, okay, you must use, if not, there will be a penalty, like you have to pay extra 20 cents, for a plastic bags, for examples. Okay, these are the things that would start to push people to see that, if I do not practice this, then I will be penalized. So they will try to comply to certain, criteria. Okay, but it's still not enough. Okay, what we are looking here today is that we should not be treating SDG as just a compliance requirement, that we have to comply to it because of there's policies. But yes, we cannot omit that, we have to start somewhere. And by setting policies is one of the great way to actually start creating awareness. Okay, so we want to do is starting with compliance and moving forward is for people to really appreciate and understand what is the purpose of all of these actions. Okay, so this is also one challenges that we are also facing here. Now, the next challenge that we can see here is that there is, weak public outreach and communication. There are only so many people out there. I mean, that the populations of Malaysia is so big, and Sarawak itself is also so big, And then how many times when we go out, we actually really hear about, the promotion about SDGs and like what are the things that we need to do. They are very, very limited actually. So you can see that from the first one that I mentioned, limited public awareness, already you can see that, there's weak public outreach and communication. Okay, the next that the challenges that we have is actually, we can very much observe that there is a gap between awareness and action. To a certain level, people are aware that, okay, I know that there's SDGs. I know that we need to take care of our earth. I know that these are things that we should not be doing, but are they practicing it? Okay. Going back to the example that I mentioned about, when you go shopping and if you needed a plastic bags, they will charge you 20 cents or maybe more on that. Some places they don't even provide at all. Even if you want to buy, they won't provide. Okay. But what is actually making these people wanting to buy and still saying that, okay, I don't mind paying the 20 cents? Yes, they know that there is these requirements, or they know that they should be doing something about it, but they are not practicing it themselves. Okay. And of course, another challenge that we do see now is that the need for collaborative approach. SDG is a long-term goal, is something that we have to do as a whole. All the communities have to be involved. So there's nowhere that an individual or an individual organizations is able to do it by themselves. They can adopt this. As close to us is we have some shopping malls already adopting this. Within the whole shopping mall, they are not allowed to give plastic bags. But they also need, the vendors, the people around them to actually appreciate it and support them. So that's the call for, collaborative approach. Okay, so coming back to the education part, because we are in the education industries, I just want to highlight that, there's something that we call education for sustainable development, right? And I'm sure a lot of us already know it's actually parked under the quality educations under sustainable development goals number 4. Okay, under this ESD, we are looking for an approach, okay, to learning that would help to equip the individuals with the right knowledge, skills, and values, and also attitudes to create a sustainable future. Okay, so this is what all the education institutions are looking at driving. Okay, so by saying that, what we can do is, of course, to integrate all the sustainabilities, knowledge, and skills, and whatsoever into our educations at all levels. Okay, regardless, the younger generations, schools, or universities, or even like up to postgraduate studies. Okay, so what Malaysia have done to begin with, as part of the compliances, policy setting and things like that, is they have come up with the value-based education requirement in their second versions of Malaysian qualification framework. Now, if you are familiar with education systems in Malaysia, especially higher education, all the higher education institutions are actually governed by the Malaysia qualification agencies in a way. Okay, because all our programs would have to be accredited by these agencies before we can actually deliver, right? So by saying that, it means that all the syllabus, all the curriculum that we are delivering is actually monitored and, accredited by them. So if they do not push this value-based education, for convenience sake, I'm sure quite a lot of institutions will still just go ahead with what they have done, what they are doing, and then integrating the new trends and stuff like that, But so when MQA comes in with this MQF 2.0, introducing value-based education, they have mandate the requirements of value into our curriculum. Okay. So it is actually aligning to the Malaysia blueprint, education blueprint that was set, okay, for 2013 to 2025. And this year, of course, they will be publishing a new one soon because the 2025 is almost done, right? So Malaysia have actually began addressing SDG goals in education system since 2013. In fact, it may come earlier. It's just that we don't have a very proper document or blueprint for us to refer to. So at that point, we are already talking about incorporating sustainability principles and aligning education with the global SDGs. But how many years have passed? 2013 up to 2025, how many institutions have actually really measured, sustainability principles that they have introduced to their curriculum? If you ask an institution to show that right now, I can say we are pretty doubtful that all the institutions are able to show that. Okay, maybe for some of the curriculums, but not all. All right. So in 2021, Malaysia's Voluntary National Review 2021 has also highlighted that the country is committed to integrating SDGs into education, right? So these are all the things that the Malaysian government has already committed to. Malaysia government, the Malaysia higher educations have committed to. But after so many years, where are we now? Are we really there of what we want to achieve? Because SDGs goals is supposed to be, achieved by 2030. And we are 5 years from there, but I would say that we are still far. Okay, so when they come up with this value-based education, it was 2017 they started to introduce this, and only recently they have made it very clear, okay, that is mandated. You must include this, and you must show in your measurements of learning outcome that you have included the value educations. Okay, so as you can see that the National SDG Roadmap 2016 to 2022, Malaysia government has already conceptualized a structural approach to mainstream SDGs in national development, including educations. But as educators myself, I have been dealing with all of these government agencies, except for this recent, MQF 2.0 that talks about value-based educations and the requirements of including sustainability educations into our framework. There has not been much policies or requirements that would emphasize that the university must, as in must have in our curriculum. So in 2024, this finally came true. It becomes a guideline. The framework is sort of like a Bible for all the education institutions. So this particular framework has mandated inclusions of ESDs in and also value-based in all the higher education curriculum. So these efforts basically shows that, Malaysia is no longer just looking at theory part, but they want to look into internalizing, SDGs component in Malaysia education system. So this is something that we all welcome. Okay. So next, what actually is value-based education? Just a very brief one. Like I said, it's newly introduced and emphasized by MQA. Basically, it is looking into nurturing character, personality, attitude, and behavior of our future generations in while they're studying. Okay, so rather than giving them all of this very theoretical, solid knowledge about the skills that they need to work, and things like that, they now focuses on personality, attitudes, and behavior development. Okay, so with this, we are looking at a brighter future in a way that the future graduates, would be able to foster ethical, social, and responsible citizenships. Okay, so this is what all institutions are looking at driving right now. We are no longer just looking at giving students the basic knowledge, okay, or the hard skills that they need for them to get a job, for them to get an employment, for them to build the futures of the country, but really about, their attitude, their behavior, and their personality. Okay. And what UCSI have been trying to do in the past few years that we have highlighted is that in the classroom, okay, we try to integrate SDGs into our curriculum. I wouldn't say that 100% of our curriculum is already integrated, but we are including it, as simple as, involving our students in various activities, and having sustainability component in our syllabus. All right. And on campus itself, physically on the campus itself, we are promoting sustainable practices in a daily manner. Okay. We have developed our UCSI community gardens. I'll show you some pictures later on, and we are also targeting to be a zero waste green campus. Okay. So these are some photos that of the activities that we have done. On the left, you can see that everybody is actually at a garden. So that's one pictures that we have taken while we are actually building our community garden that time. And then of course we have various sorts of talks, sharing. We invite industrial, we invite especially people like from Regenerative Acts, and the various stakeholders of RCEs, those who have been working with us in promoting SDGs to share about freshwater ecosystems, water quality, carbon footprint, sustainable living, and all sorts. It's not just for the students, but we have these sessions for our academic staff as well. Okay, so that they are able to also appreciate this and deliver this in their classrooms. Okay, other things that UCSI have been doing, one of the example that we have is we would be bringing our students to go out to the communities, because we don't want to just impact the UCSI community, but we wanted to go beyond UCSI community. So what we have within our, I can share a bit here, like within our universities, one of the key performance indicators for every academic department is that we have a community project that we have to fulfill. And we actually rank it by the level of outreach that we are able to reach out to, and the numbers of communities that we have touched. Okay, so one of the key projects or initiative that was pretty successful for us is the Paku Rock Maze community-based tourism. Okay, this is something that was done at another faculty, not our business faculty. They have initiated it, and it is very successful. And we are still very much involved in this, rock maze, and we still talk to people about it. It's a very nice place. If you have time, you can go and visit as well. Okay, other things that we have recently also, we have been doing regularly is beach cleanup. This is something that we are doing it on a very regular basis, especially if it is conjunction with any international, ocean days and things like that. Right, and then pluging. This is one of the new endeavor that we have started in the past 2 years. Okay, because we are located on the Isthmus Island. If you're familiar with that part, where BC's care is, the Isthmus Island, and that place is developing but not really developed. So there are places whereby it become some unseen and hidden ground of waste. Okay, so what we try to do is, on an annual basis, we will involve all the communities on the Isthmus Island, okay, to come with us and go around the Isthmus Island to collect all this waste. Okay, and by doing that, we want to show to the community that this is so much waste that is around us, and we should be doing something about it. Okay, and as of last year, we actually worked together hand in hand with the National Climate Government Summits, and we have also hosted a forum, okay, in conjunction with that. So we want to work with the community, not just for them, but we want to work together with them and involving our students along the way. Okay, and these are some photos as well of what they have done. There is this 5R communities that I have missed just now. We also have the opportunity to work very closely with the various schools. We go into primary schools and secondary schools to actually share with them about, the 5Rs, and also what kind of SDGs and also community projects that they can also be involved with. Okay, and of course, not forgetting as an education, we always talk about research and innovation. So Sarawak campus, we are not so much into academic researchers, but over in our main campus, we have set up various research consortiums, including the CORA, the Sustainable Coastal Cities Research Consortium, our UCSI Low Carbon Innovation Hub, research consortiums, and these are all the research consortiums that is looking into research that has involvements of sustainability elements. And by doing that, we also wish to provide more solutions to the community of what we can also do, as a university. So at this point, I would want to sort of pause for a bit and show you a video that we would usually show to our students during orientations and engage them, and hoping that they will have the initiative to join us as part of the sustainable community. Let me just pause for a bit and share this video.
Wait, hang on. I think for
What is RCE? RCE stands for Regional Center of Expertise and is a network of stakeholders committed to using education for sustainable development to promote knowledge, values, and attitudes for a sustainable future. Hosted by UCSI University Sarawak campus, RCE Kuching collaborates closely with local communities on various sustainable development issues. At the faculty level, course content is continually reviewed to ensure the integration of the Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs, into relevant topics, assignments, and projects. Moreover, from the outset, youth have been a cornerstone of our CE Kuching's programs and activities. They are actively engaged in suggesting and planning initiatives, while also serving as role models for fellow students and other young people in the community. Ultimately, achieving the SDGs requires strong partnerships among the community, the university, government agencies, NGOs, and youth. Therefore, boys and girls, you will find a number of sustainable initiatives at the campus, all with the aim of learning what you live and living what you learn. The UCSI Community Garden is one such initiative at the campus. The Community Garden effort aims to produce organic herbs, vegetables, and fruit for use in the UCSI student kitchens, to use kitchen waste as compost in the garden, to empower participants to be influential community garden ambassadors. Our campus also focuses on engaging the campus community to promote responsible waste disposal practices. With this, we aim to eventually become a zero-waste campus. We emphasize on a disposing of hazardous, electronic, and grease trap waste in a responsible and ethical manner, segregating waste at source, which are paper, aluminum cans, plastics, and kitchen waste. There are several recycle bins on campus. Know where they are. At the kitchens, Food waste is collected for the composting area at the UCSI Community Garden, and used oil is compiled with UCSI Hotel for recycling purposes. Green practices also play a major role, which involve implementing environmentally friendly actions. The goal of this practice is to have the university community to use recyclable items such as cutlery, decorative items, and reduce food wastage. All are asked to avoid plastic straws and bags and to go for reusable and eco-friendly replacements instead. The Bring Your Own Cutlery initiative is practiced by the UCSI community for all staff and student meetings and activities. Moreover, where possible, processes are digitalized and soft copies are used instead to reduce our carbon footprint and paper wastage. When required, only paper from sustainably managed forests is acquired. Our CE Kuching has also organized cleaning activities such as beach cleanup events involving all UCSI students. These aim to raise awareness on protecting marine wildlife and keeping our oceans rubbish-free. Our CE Kuching has also been actively promoting sustainability awareness by sharing creative posters on social media platforms. These aim to raise awareness, knowledge, and skills on sustainable issues. We have also contributed in community-based projects featuring sustainable fishing systems with a village in Padawan, holding river art competitions to highlight river pollution in Kuching, contributing to restoring tourism attraction sites, and creating educational material on rivers. We will soon be publishing our work targeting young adults. A number of our projects have been honored with prestigious international accolades and awards. Our latest projects have included new programs involving plogging at the campus vicinity and beach cleanup events in conjunction with the international coastal cleanup endeavors. An inaugural forum entitled The Sustainable Transitions and Cross-Sector Strategies for Achieving Net Zero Economy happened in 2024 and featured speakers from various sectors in Sarawak to share insights with youth from Kuching and various stakeholders on advancing towards a zero-carbon economy. A report has been recently published highlighting the key issues discussed at this forum. Recipients who receive scholarships.
I think what I'll do is I'll just stop here because the following part is basically what the benefits our students will be getting if they actively participate in this. Right. So in a way, we are actually trying to promote the adoptions of sustainable practices as much as possible. And we want to get them to feel it themselves, having this hands-on and experience it, and eventually learn to appreciate it. Okay. So moving forward, what we wish to do is beyond awareness, we want the community to co-create these engagements of SDG with us. Okay, public knows about SDGs, like I said, but they does not always act on the value. Most often time is because SDG 17 goals is probably too abstract for them. It's something that's so big that it is not touching them personally. And so most of the time, we don't see what's the value in it for us to actually adopt these practices. Okay, I'm from a marketing background, so I look at these things from the marketing analogy. So when we talk about marketing, for any businesses, profit or non-profit businesses, we are always looking at achieving co-creation of value as well. Okay, so we will only consider ourselves successful when we have our customers helping to co-create a product value with us, and later on be our loyal customers. Okay. Similarly, with SDG applications, we are not just talking about SDGs practices today, but we want to involve the people and eventually having them co-create this value with us and influence the people around them. Okay, so in a way, what we're saying is that we can, as an education institutions, look into providing information, creating awareness, involving these people, the communities around us, building that experience and providing them with the social support. But what we want to achieve, and I'm sure all the other institutions, who are looking into SDG change, is the internalizations of SDGs and sustainability in all the individual. which is through quality engagements and building this relationship. So by providing information and experience and the support, we wish to build this close relationship with every individual within the community, and ultimately leads to attitude or behavior change. Okay, that is when we consider ourselves creating the value together with the community. Okay, so if you can observe this adoption curve, when people learn to adopt something, they will always start with the awareness. Okay, so at this point of time, a lot of people, I wouldn't say a lot, but most people are informed about SDGs, but they have a lack of deep understanding. So that's why they are not really adopting it. So what we want to do is through involvements and engagement to stir their interest, okay, and allow them to internalize it and feel that, okay, there is something that is relevant to them and it is feasible for them to do it at the individual level, right? So most universities, like us as well, we are at the trial stage, okay? We have pilot programs to initiate all these things, and trying to influence the people around us, okay? But the adoptions will come later when SDGs are truly embedded into policies, operation, and the culture. It will become the institutional identity. So when that happens, we will only have the internalizations happening. SDG becomes part of the institution identity and decision-making DNA. So everything that we do or everything that the community do, they would automatically, relate it to SDGs and sustainabilities. Okay, so how do we do that? Of course, we can start with making it local. Connect all these global goals to everyday life and community benefits. They will have to see how these goals are relevant to them, okay, are connected to them, and not just, 17 major big goals there and it's far-fetched for them. Okay, and empowering the grassroots, support community-led initiative, okay, not just to tell them what to do, but to support and engage them. Share real stories. This is very important because, young generations now like to hear stories as well. I mean, even elder generations, when you share stories, it is a very powerful tool to actually involve people and engage them in terms of their empathies and build that relationship. Okay, and offering hands-on experience is definitely something that we are doing, and we are working very closely with all our stakeholders in doing that. Okay, and using online platforms for dialogue collaborations, leveraging on digital platforms like social media. That's also what we are trying to do, and I'm sure a lot of institutions are also doing that. And what we are looking for is that we can reach out to as much community as possible and as wide community as possible. And this can only be done when all the parties come together and collaborate with each other. So at various levels, there are things that we can do. And at the individual level, we can always learn and act sustainability, adopt sustainability practice, support green businesses, and join local efforts. That's the least we could do. Okay, and organizations and businesses, they are already doing right now. They are integrating SDGs, they are exploring partnerships, they are investing in sustainable innovation, even if they do not see that as something that they have to do, but eventually the government policies will come in, and force them to do somehow. Okay, because when the government is looking into moving towards, attaining SDG goals, for sure, the compliances will come in. But we want to go beyond that. Okay, and of course, community leaders, they can always connect with all the stakeholders who are involved in SDGs projects, and help to identify all the locals' SDG needs and work together with them. Okay, and that's basically about it for my sharing. And is there any questions that anybody would like to ask?
Yeah, I think there is a question already from Jacob, who is asking,
Wow, great.
is UCSI hotel adopting locally made sustainable solutions? And what are some products that UCSI use that we can follow to be a bit more SDG friendly?
The hotel itself, of course, we are trying to use as much of local products, and we make sure that, we do not just simply throw our waste out and stuff like that. We basically, because the hotel is not really my forte though, but I will try to answer as much as possible. So like I mentioned earlier on, they are talking about, the collections of their oil, their waste, and stuff like that. This is done on a regular basis, and the hotel itself is actually a green hotel. Okay, because whatever buildings that is built on the Isthmus Island, if you have noticed, they have to be a green index building. Okay, this is what the government have actually, put in Sarawak. So our hotel, if you come in from the hotel entrance, you will see that behind the hotel lobby, we have a huge piece of greeneries. And then there is a really huge sky high waterfall, structure there. So the whole idea of having that is actually to reduce the needs of air conditioning. In fact, our hotel lobby doesn't have air conditioning earlier on. Okay, so this supposed to cool down the space using all of these natural resources. Also, we do have all of these solar panels installed somewhere on our hotel, structures, and that is actually helping to reduce some electricity's usage, right? So not usage, but the amount of electricity that we are using, from other source. And at the same time, we are also measuring all of these energies, and waters and things that we are using. Okay, I'm not able to produce a report right now, but they are tracking it, and the reports is coming. In fact, it is actually reporting to our top management on a regular basis, and eventually at one point that will want to make this this report open to the public as well. Yeah. So if you talk about products that UCSI uses, we are not really into developing products yet, so I wouldn't be able to answer to that. Like providing with products that it is in a more sustainable SDG friendly products. Yeah, I hope I've answered your question.
All right. Okay, great. I think if feel free to ask any more questions in the chat box. But while waiting, maybe I do have one on how maybe let's say how can we measure whether let's say the initiative has moved from awareness to actually sort of compliance or internalization between the community. So maybe we can discuss what are some indicators or behaviors that we can observe or maybe look at for the initiatives, moving on further in the future when we plan any of these SDG projects.
Yeah, I mean, simple gestures. If you're just talking about awareness, it is very much like, sharing information, and then they'll be like, okay, I know this, right? And then moving from awareness to internalizations to actually practicing it, and before that is the compliance part, is when you only do things when you are being required to do, like mandating this. Like, okay, because there's a certain rules, you are not allowed to do this. Like what we have started at UCSI is initially we started with no plastic utensils and stuff like that. So all of the community, if we have any events or whatsoever, we would inform everybody that, okay, there won't be any plastic utensils provided. You have to bring your own cutleries and all these sort of things. So it started that way. And when we first begin, there will still be people who cannot remember that they have to bring their own cutleries and stuff, okay? So they will still be asking for all of these kinds of utensils and things like that. But slowly as we move forward, you will start to observe that some of the communities, they have made it a point for themselves that they would be bringing along, I would say, like bringing along their own utensils, even from their daily practices. You can observe it actually, like they would have always a ready sets of cutleries with them wherever they go, not just on campus, even when they go out, okay, away from the campus, they will also have that practices. And if they go to any events, they will bring their own tumbler with them, for refillable waters and stuff like that. So that is when you can see that slowly they are already internalizing this. Okay, so we want that to go a bit beyond, is that when they're internalizing that, they also want to actually share with the people among them. So the cycles will continue awareness, compliances and internalizing. Yeah. And made it a value of their own. Yeah.
Right. Okay. And I think no further questions at the moment. So maybe if we can all have a quick group photo.